Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with the Salt right here on Superlative Radio. Today we are going to be talking about the second episode of Loki. So if you're not catching this thing on Disney Plus, man, you really got to, because
Get in there.
I'm going to tell you, when this one is over, you're really going to understand why Doctor Strange 2 is called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. You're really going to understand.
You saw why last night.
Yeah, you're going to understand why come the end of it. Like, if you haven't seen it, just pause this, go watch it, come back.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's going to explain it all. It's pretty cool. Again, another nice long episode. It was almost an hour long.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you take the 5 minutes of, credits off at the end, then it's, 50 minutes. So even still, it's almost an hour.
Yeah. Still long enough.
Yeah. And what did you think overall?
Loved it. I'm starting to get into it now and starting to get the. Oh, that's a cold nose. Trying to get the starting.
That's what she said.
That's what she. Oh. Hey, who knew? But yeah, no, I'm really starting to get into it now, and I'm curious to know how they're going to take it through, especially since he's chasing himself, technically.
Yeah,
speaking,
it's really funny, eh?
So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. So as we find out last episode, the deviant or the variation that they're looking for, variant they're looking for is him.
Deviant, yeah, he's a deviant.
Deviant, yeah, it all fits, but the one they're looking for is another version of him, and they explain in this episode how he's going from place to place through time and what he's doing, and they explain why this other variant looks a little different than him, or well, in this case, a whole lot different. Yeah. Considering it at the end, we find out it's a woman.
Yeah,
a woman Loki, and so it's really cool how they explain all that, and then of course there's how they figured out.
I've known a few women I thought were Loki, but anyway, that's another story for another time.
Yeah. So there's the whole thing of how they find out. Of like Loki figures out what the other Loki is actually doing, and so him and Agent Mobius, figure out how they're going to get into it, I guess, and it's really neat how he figures it out. I like when he goes to the file clerk, and he's like, "Can I have all the files on the beginning of time?" No. Mm-hmm. Those are classified. Can I have all the files on the timekeepers? No, those are classified. Can I have all the files on the end of time? No, those are classified. Okay, what files can I have?
Yeah.
And she hands him just the file on him.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny.
It was cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I have?
What can I have? This. It's so funny. But yeah, so he figures out what the other Loki is doing is doing stuff just before major apocalypse-like disasters happen. And that's where this other Loki is hiding out. Because anything else is whatever they do just before an apocalyptic event and everybody dies or whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change nothing. No. And they figure this out through an example when they go to Pompeii, and they're like, basically they're there when the volcano erupts and it all gets buried in ash and whatever. And that's how they figure it out, that it's not affecting anything. Whatever they do, didn't matter. Like Loki tells all the people, "Oh, you're all gonna die," and he lets all the goats out and he throws things and he's running around doing things. It doesn't affect the timeline at all, because it doesn't matter, because within minutes everybody's gonna be dead anyway.
That's it.
So that's how they kind of figure that out. But I like when he's explaining that to Agent Mobius when he's eating his lunch, and he's like, I could do this and it doesn't matter, and he's got the salt.
Yeah.
And I could do this and it doesn't matter, and he's got the pepper, and he's like, "That's my salad." And he's like, and he goes over to the other guy and he's like, "Hey, give me this for a minute." And he goes, "Oh, it's you again."
Yeah.
It's the same.
It was
guy.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like the way he explains it to him and then they go to test the theory, and that's when they go to Pompeii and they realize that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's how they figure out what the other Loki is doing. And the other Loki has been stealing all of their time reset devices, where they purge the variant timelines, and then towards the end sets up basically a trap where these things all go throughout and cause massive chaos, and you see all the branches
All the
of
timelines
reality.
going all over. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how we kind of figure out this is probably going to more than likely how it's going to lead into Doctor Strange, because they did say Loki is going to tie to it, just like WandaVision would, just like the next Spider-Man is going to, and that really kind of explains why Spider-Man is going to be it's going to be a Spider-Verse thing where they're going to have all these other, they're going to have all the other Peter Parkers, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to come back, and villains from both their movies are coming, and so it's going to be. It's going to, it's all going to tie together, all these different multiverse.
Well, now you can see how it's going to be, because with all those different timelines going on, now you understand why it's going to happen the way that it does.
That's basically, I think, what they're doing with Phase 4 is Phase 4 is all of these different timelines and how they're going to fix everything and make it. And it's going to be how they kind of bring everything into one huge... And I guess
amalgamation.
And I guess the reason they're going to do that is because they've been trying to figure out, probably when they first bought Fox, right? When Disney bought Fox and they got the rights to the Fantastic Four and the X-Men back, they were probably trying to figure out how are we going to introduce the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, where the X-Men had a whole universe on their own before, right? And then there's been like two different variant types of Fantastic Four movies.
Incarnations.
So now with this multiverse theory, what that allows them to do is say, okay, well, technically the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is
still
part
valid.
of the Marvel Universe.
Still valid, yep.
The Andrew Garfield one is still part of the Marvel Universe. The X-Men movies are all part of the... Because with all these branches in reality, they can say, okay, well, that was this Earth, and that was this
That's
Earth,
right.
and that was that Earth. And
they have a hanger to stick it on.
yeah, exactly. So it kind of gives them something to work with where they can go, okay, this is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that allows them to kind of take those things and say, all right, they're not going to be the exact one that's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's not going to invalidate those for people who are fans of them, which I think is kind of a neat way to do it.
That's important because
because then it's like, oh, well, these people can go, oh, cool, it's still valid, it's still this, it's still that,
That's right.
And I think that's kind of neat. So, but anyway, you get to see all of how that's going to come about through Loki, and I think that's really going to be key because Doctor Strange is supposed to make an appearance in
Loki?
No.
Oh.
In Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
And so, I mean, that's going to explain because he's supposed to help Spider-Man fix the Spider-Verse realities and put everybody back where they're supposed. Okay. So it's all supposed to tie together. So you'll start to see all this stuff, and I think that's really cool that they're doing that. And I'm not sure if like Doctor Strange is going to kind of take over a mentor role with Spider-Man where Tony's dead. So, but it also opens the door for them to bring in somebody else to be Iron Man. It also brings in the opportunity for, another Captain America or another Black Widow or whatever, like that kind of thing. But I mean, now we've got Falcon as Captain America, and we're going to have Yana Belova as Black Widow after Natasha Romanoff is gone. So we're still going to have a Black Widow and a Captain America, but it
gives them opportunities.
It gives them opportunities to bring in like a different Steve Rogers or a different Natasha Romanoff or a different Tony Stark, and explain that. Well, everybody's it's the same person sort of, but everybody can look a little different in each world or whatever. But it's all basically the same. So it's kind of cool.
It gives them all validity.
Yeah,
to do
and
what
it allows
they
them
need
to replace the actors and make it believable in a way, because they can say, well, they're from another universe or another Earth or whatever, and they've come over because maybe their universe got destroyed and they escaped it, or whatever they're going to do.
Anything.
Right?
Could be a million different
because
reasons.
that's how they try to explain it with Mysterio in the second Spider-Man. He claims he's from another Earth where his Earth was destroyed. And now they can actually kind of do that and be like, okay, well, that is how that person came into this reality. So it's really kind of cool. Yeah, it gives it all validity. So it's really neat. And this episode of Loki really explains it. And it's really quite good in how they go about it. And I like the way it ends. It ends on a great cliffhanger where he chases the other Loki through
right into the thing,
through the time door or whatever it is, and leaves Mobius and the other agents behind. And So yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see. Now, like I told you off air, I don't understand how Loki is moving from the other Loki is moving from person to person. Like, it walks up and touches
That's right.
somebody and
Just takes that over.
takes that person. I don't know. And then at the very end, it did it without even being touched. So I don't know how that other Loki is, because that's not
They'll
an ability.
explain that, I'm
yeah,
sure, but-
that's not an ability Loki has, right? Loki has other abilities, and it's funny. He actually explains his powers to them.
That's true. He did,
At
didn't
one
he?
point, he explains his powers, but I don't know how because this other power that this
Other one
female
has,
Loki is
yeah.
using isn't a power Loki has. So somewhere along the line, it's gained that power. So, but
In
anyway,
another universe or something. Yeah.
yeah, it's quite interesting, and I mean they cover a lot
Yeah.
in this episode with how time is working and how they fix it and how they keep things, and they actually have the conversation which you and I have once had about free will.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, if there's a sacred timeline and everything is this
Yeah.
set, then how doesn't that make
Yeah,
it so
I know.
nobody has free will?
That's
really?
right. Exactly.
And it's kind of funny because in a way that means that, everything is predestined, right? So if you're going to have one timeline, then everything is predestined. Nobody actually has
any
free
choice.
will.
Yep.
You have no choice. You're going to go that route. And what causes these variations in time is when someone actually breaks free of that and does something
that makes another choice.
that makes a different choice.
Yeah.
And it branches the reality. And the only people who seem to actually have free choice are the people in the
people that are in control
the
of it.
time variant
Yeah.
authority as
Yeah.
those guys, because they live outside
Of the timeline.
So they're the only ones with any actual real free choice, which
Yeah.
Loki points out. And
That's
I
right.
think that's really interesting to see, because it means that no matter what anybody does, that choice is like, okay, that's predetermined to happen.
It's already been figured
It's
out.
already been figured out.
They know exactly what you're going to do before you do it. So, yeah exactly.
And they also explain that Loki is they've chased down more variants of Loki than any other individual in the history of the universe.
Yeah, it's weird. eh?
He's the one that no matter what it is, there's been
That-
more of them than anything, which I thought was really funny, because as the god of mischief, it really kind
It fits.
of fit. Like he just goes around, he's just like, I'm gonna screw.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah. What am I going to do today?
Yeah. What am I gonna do today? I'm gonna screw that up. I'm gonna screw that
Yeah.
up, and I'm gonna screw that up. Yeah. Got a whiff, did you?
Yeah.
Pongo's letting them go today, and they're ripe.
Oh,
man.
yeah. They're good ones today.
Ripe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fantastic, and I can't wait for next Wednesday. That's all I got to say. I was like,
Yeah, I always
Man.
hate to see it end because I always find I just get into it and it's done.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, gotta wait another week.
yeah, and it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was doing that in WandaVision. I was just starting and I was like, oh, please, but it is what it is.
yep, that's right.
It is what it is.
It is what it
Hey,
is.
who knew?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I thought it was really good, and I like I said, I am eagerly looking forward to what's going to happen next week.
Well, it's only a week away.
And yeah, that's right, it is. And I'm eager to see how it's going to end. I mean, it's only 6 episodes, so we're almost halfway through.
Yeah.
God,
one more and we're
already?
halfway through already. Yeah.
Man, it just seems to be like these things start and then they're over.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It is what it is, right?
yeah, that's right. So
We do what we can do. We'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
while
enjoy
we
it
got
while
it.
it's going. For
That's
sure.
right. Enjoy it while it's there.
And but I really like Owen Wilson as Agent Mobius. I think he's got such a dry deliverance with his humor. It makes him funny.
He's a good role for him.
Yeah, he's just so and he's like that. It seems in everything he's in.
Yeah, from the Starsky and Hutch to
Yeah,
the.
it doesn't matter what he's in. He's
Yeah.
just got that deadpan, just dry sense of humor, and it's really funny.
You, Me,
so,
and Dupree.
Yeah,
That was funny. Yeah, he's done some good stuff.
yeah. So, but yeah. So, what was your favorite part?
I think the thing that made me kind of go was he was thinking before he jumped through that time window.
About waiting for
Yeah,
them?
yeah. You could see he was, and then he just went. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he did it. You know, that was the thing that made me kind of go, okay. I wasn't sure if he was going to.
Yeah, well, I think what Mobius was thinking is, because he's seen Loki's whole life, right?
Right.
Right up until Thanos kills him. And he saw how Loki changed to be a better person.
Right.
Right? Well, he brought this Loki in thinking that he could probably do the same thing, is get him to change. Well, what is people got to remember, and this is so important, it's what they said when they were making the show, is this isn't that Loki. This is the 2012 Loki who just got his ass kicked by the Avengers from trying to conquer Earth. Right?
So it's not the same one.
It's not the same Loki. Like that, you know, it may have had it continued on in its own timeline. He may have done the exact same thing and become.
But it's still not the same one.
But at that time,
he wasn't
still
ready
a devious. He wasn't ready to be a good guy.
That's right.
He was, you know, he was more looking forward to being
the troublemaker.
And whatever. And I mean, he even told them like he was gonna. Like, you can't trust me. Like, you can't. And he's right. You can't. Because at that point, you don't know.
No.
My favorite part was when he's like, Loki, you've literally stabbed people in the back 50 times. Well, I'll never do it again.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was awesome. It was so funny. Well, I'll never do it again. Yeah. That was so funny. Yeah.
It was a good episode.
I liked it, yeah. So, but I mean, it's I think what we're going to see is that Loki is going to probably become that heroic kind of Loki, or closer to it. And I think what they're going to do is, this is how they're going to keep Loki around, is this Loki's going to prove that he's able to stay around, and they're probably going to let him stay in the sacred timeline, which means he'll be in the Marvel Universe again to continue on.
Okay, that would make sense.
And I think then what's going to happen is in Thor 4, we're going to see probably Loki in that, I'll bet you, and it'll have to explain how they've kept him around. So
time will tell.
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
Or the timeline will tell.
Yeah. So I think it'll be neat. I think it'll be interesting to see, you know. And I wouldn't be surprised if Loki makes an appearance in the next Doctor Strange movie either. I mean, I don't know how true that would be, but
you never can tell.
You never know.
With all the timelines now.
You really don't know where they're going to throw people anymore.
No, with the timelines the way they are, they can. Now the door's open for them to do all kinds of things. So it's
you really don't know where they're going to put people. No. Like, I mean, the one thing I am glad about is that Charlie Cox is going to be reprising his role as Matt Murdock.
Okay.
So you know, because he's supposed to be in Spider-Man as just Matt Murdock, not Daredevil, and he's going to be in the She-Hulk. In the She-Hulk show. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. So that means they're going to hopefully keep him around to be Daredevil, which will be cool. Because, I mean, he was awesome as Daredevil. He was really good at it. And
well, the door's open now. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, with all of these timelines, you're right. It opens up so much.
Yeah.
And because they're all going to have, by the end of it, they're going to have to try to fix all these timelines and figure out where everybody is and blah, 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 to figure out how it's going to
come back to normal,
right? So that may mean this is how things are going to cross over here and there throughout. So
it's going to be a journey.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it, to see how they figure it all out. And I mean, again, we're not going to know how it all ends probably until Doctor Strange.
So,
because that's the thing. Like,
so buckle up. It's a wild
ride.
We've
gone through WandaVision. Now there's Loki. Then there's still going to be Spider-Man, and it's still not supposed to even really tie up until Doctor Strange. And even then, I wonder if they're going to tie
Maybe
it up.
They'll even take it further. You don't know.
We'll see. But overall, I thought it was just amazing. It's a great show.
Yeah.
And
very much
you should be watching it. If you're not,
get in there.
Definitely check it out. Yeah. Anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered it all.
Yeah,
so I'm good.
I hope everybody out there enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Head on over to superlativeradio.com and you can get yourself some great Let's Talk with the Saw merch.
Yes.
We have some fantastic things up there. And if you do happen to pick anything up when you get it, send us a picture.
Yeah.
And we'll put it up on our website. And, you know, it'll be kind of cool.
Yeah. A hat or shirt or whatever. And take a
there's
picture
everything.
with it.
Like there's men's clothing, women's clothing, there's bags, bottles, like you name it. We got all
Pillows,
kinds of
whatever,
stuff.
all kinds of
there's all
things.
kinds of cool stuff there.
Yeah.
So check it out. And you can also pick up some of your other favorite Superlative Radio merch as well. So
Yeah, it's all there.
It's all there. And in the meantime, we will catch you guys next week for another episode of Let's Talk with the Cell. Right
See you later. Stay
on
healthy.
Superlative Radio.